Well, children, it's time to do a recipe. It is my mother's recipe on biscuits. You can use the same basic ingredients. Oh, geez, I better find out what they are. You can use them for biscuits, or you can use them for bannock if you want to. Actually, the bannock part's not bad. Okay, let's get down to it here. Okay, no morality here, children. Listen, we're trying to lighten up a bit, okay? 2 cups of flour, 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Well, I didn't notice the teaspoon part, so I put I put 2 tablespoons of baking powder in there, and I rescued part of one. And then it says half a teaspoon of salt. Well, forget that, because I use, it's not Himalayan salt, but I use some real granular stuff. And 3 tablespoons of white sugar. Well, the joy of having a recipe is the freedom not to follow it. Now, instead of 3 tablespoons of white sugar, I use 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. It really makes them look somewhat, shall we say, interesting, especially if you don't mix it well enough together. 3 tablespoons of melted butter or more. This is my elder sister, and I'm not sure if she uses turmeric, because I don't think this is how I used to build my mom's tea biscuits, but nonetheless, she could be still mental acumen is what I'm talking about. She could be quite functional. And anyways, I put in about quarter pound of butter. And then I took 1 egg. You may remember that my mom used to crack eggs with one hand. Well, I did too, until I lost my middle appendage and crushed everything else until it doesn't. My hands don't work as well as they did once, and they don't. And so, anyways, I cracked an egg and did a fairly good job. And I thought, well, why not? So I cracked another one and did a better job. Perhaps with practice I will improve. And who knows? This is not impossible, children. And anyways, so I worked all that up. I don't know how to turn this stupid oven on. And it's not like my stove at the ranch. Oh, dear Lord God in heaven. A 3-foot gas stove, range, 5 burners, real big oven. Real big oven. Oh, well, this isn't. This is definitely not. It's electric. Well, it has 5 burners, but gee, what can you cook on a 30-inch stove? Anyways, it says you're supposed to bake it at 425 degrees for 18 minutes. The thing that's interesting, of course, is the oven has to be heated for 20 minutes before to really get it up to 425, and you're supposed to have a rolling pin. I don't have a rolling pin. Well, you would not have a rolling pin off the back of a horse out in the bush. And I try to do ranch-type based cooking. And that's not hard. It's not hard. It may not look good, but I guarantee you, every single person who eats these biscuits today will be nothing but kind and generous in his compliments about myself. That's all right. I won't complain. It's not every day that I get to make something without Well, it is every day because I only cook for myself. Nonetheless, anyways, you can use this same recipe for dumplings, otherwise known in our family as dumplings. It doesn't have to be Bisquick. It doesn't have to be what I told my opera singing ex-daughter-in-law. It probably took her about 6 or 8 hours, and they probably didn't turn out anyways, because I really didn't have a clue what I was telling her, except that I sure was enjoying the moment, shall we say. So you can use the same combination of flour, baking powder, and so on. Really, follow the recipe, children, at least as far as the ingredients are concerned. I took one of my rock-type fry pans and melted another quite a chunk of butter in the bottom, and no rolling pin. So I just took the dough and formed it with my hands, and not having that middle finger there, it kind of is a little difficult, but nonetheless it worked. And I put those tea biscuits in that frying pan, I suppose, with the butter for 20 odd minutes. I would kind of like to go rescue them, but I don't want to detract from the humor you're probably enjoying hearing an old rancher try to emulate a true chef's cooking. My mom, a woman, she just did everything that she chose to do. Do you know, I heard a text being, I read a text, and it said, who am I? And I thought of my mom, because my mom did not premise her life on what she may well have been limited to from her childhood. She just chose to do whatever she wanted that was good for her and good for everyone around her. She was the most loving, kind lady in the world. And so, tea biscuits, big tea biscuits, bannock. Oh, children, I do make bannock. I make bannock. It's more like a cake in a frying pan, but it's about 2 inches thick. I made some the other night. I ate 2 pieces. I just finished throwing the rest in the garbage. It was very good. And but I kind of felt the need for a chocolate bar at the time, so I made my bannock with a whole lot of brown sugar, and I covered it with brown sugar. And it was not as good as a chocolate bar, but it got me over the hump. And anyways, so follow the recipe, take a shot at it. The joy of being myself is I don't follow recipes well. I look upon them as a general direction wherein I should be kind of somewhat, shall we say, heading, and then creativity. I hope it's creativity. Not rebelliousness or something. Look at me. You think I'd rebel against anything? Yeah, probably. So, take a shot, children, at these tea biscuits, use a rolling pin if you have one, and cut them out nice. Make the biscuits almost an inch thick, because when they're done, they'll be almost 2 inches thick, which means you split them in the middle, and you really have something good to put honey on, lots of butter. I spent about 8 to 10 years using margarine. I won't say what kind, starts with a B. And then I went to work with a guy in the north here, and we were comparing notes of what we had done in our lives in terms of work. And he said, I worked in a canola plant. I said, really, what did you make there? I was thinking diesel fuel. He said, we made margarine. And I said, well, what was that like? Oh, he said, it was very interesting. He said, I wouldn't eat it, and I wouldn't recommend eating it. And I do believe he said this, but I would not swear to it. Well, I don't. All right. Yeah, I kind of let my yay be yay and my nay nay. I'm going to leave that word swear alone. He said, a bear will not eat margarine. If a bear tears your camp apart and it comes upon the little yellow and white container of margarine, it will rip it open to ascertain what it is. But apparently, he said, I don't know. I tend to believe him. He said, a bear will not eat margarine. I anticipate a letter from the dairy group in Canada saying, thank you, Jim. Well, that's probably not going to be forthcoming. But I want you to know something else very important. Listen, very important. A bear will eat automatic transmission fluid. I have that on pretty good authority. So use butter give it a shot. I mean, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? Well, it may have 2 calories more than the margarine. You may live 4 years longer because you lived a bit more, shall we say, healthy. You see, I am not going to have any trouble limiting the number of tea biscuits that I consume. Well, you may have difficulty if you follow the recipe, but I don't do that very often. So, hey, we're shutting this one down. Follow that recipe I gave you. Look at other recipes. Phone my sister. Oh, no, don't do that. No, okay. God bless you all. Have a good day, and happy cooking, eh? A little better than the last video, a little more cheery, I hope. God bless. God bless you.